Once upon a time, in a room full of wonders, where every step leads to magic, and the journey of a true story begins here, with amazing guests and true miracles. Please like and subscribe for more amazing videos.
Thank you very much for the invite. I was 6 years old, and my dad had asked me to go with him to some friends at his house. He was going to work on a vehicle. And of course, I agreed. I like hanging out with my dad. So I went over there, and they were working on the vehicle. The vehicle is in a garage, and the garage is closed. There's only a walk-in door, and the car was running. And they were standing in the door to get some fresh air, and I was behind the car, not really knowing what was going on, you know. So I was behind the car, and I was playing with something, and I remember getting dizzy, and I passed out. And when I passed out, I hit my head on the bumper. I busted my head open, and at that point, I went directly to the light. I went down the tunnel, went to the light, and there was two spiritual beings there to greet me. We went through different places. It seemed like different cities, things of that sort. We went down hallways. We came across a room that had little slivers that looked like paper, and those, I now know that was called the Akashic Records. So, and we went through other different places, and it lasted roughly about 20 minutes. I was gone, technically, clinically dead for 20 minutes. So we went to other places, and we wound up in this one room, and the room was huge. You know, I was only 6 years old, so I really wasn't sure how big dimensionally the room was, but it was huge. And the beings never left me. They were on both sides of me. They were shimmering beings. There wasn't any facial recognition to them whatsoever. They were just shimmering beings. So we were in this room, and in the front of me within this room was what looked like a stop sign laying down on the side. But it was an octagon shape, and it was a well. And the well looked like confetti going up and down within the well. And I was urged to go up and put my hands in there. And when I did, I got this light tingling sensation that went on through me. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. And what I felt most about the whole thing was the way that I was loved. It was like in a continuous state of bliss. It was just a remarkable. But anyways, as I got my hands in this well, I've got a light tingling sensation going on, and I don't really know what to make of it. And then afterwards, I stepped back, and then when I did, the beings on either side of me, in my head is when I got the message that I can go whichever direction I want to go. And when I heard that in my head, then a tunnel appeared before me and on either side of me and then behind me. So I did a scan, and I looked around, and when I looked back to my left again, I woke up on the couch in these people's house. And they were taking oxygen off of me, and my dad was there, and of course everybody was there. And we went immediately to the doctor's office, and then from there I went to the hospital, spent the day in the hospital, and was taken back home. It was carbon monoxide poisoning that I had died from, and they didn't have at that time available to us the hyperbaric chambers to reduce the carbon monoxide injury that I sustained. So after that is when things really began to get crazy. You know, I grew up in a Southern Baptist family, so my mother's father was a Southern Baptist minister. So every time I turned around, I was going to go to hell for something or another. You know, that was just the way it was back then. Anytime you talked about anything like that, you're going to go to hell, you know. And I was told to stop lying. And I see spirit all the time. I hear things, I see things, I sense things, I know things, you know. So growing up, being only 6 years old, there really wasn't anybody to talk to. There was nobody to talk to. My mom and dad just kind of tuned me out. My family tuned me out. I didn't have very many friends. I just had a couple friends growing up, and I learned to just not really say anything to anybody because, you know, you get tired of being called a liar. So I just kind of tuned out and became a loner, and I dove into music and been playing music ever since, and that's been my solace ever since then, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So So growing up, like I said, I didn't have anybody really to talk to. So I started studying different things. I've been divorced and married a few times, and it's, it's just kind of really weird what the near-death experience would do to you. I'm 100% love. I love everybody, and I love pretty much everything. So trying to figure out who I was and what I am was a real struggle early in life, because people just kind of tune you out when you tell them that you see things and you hear things and you sense things. And everybody wants to test you and tease you. So you lose your friends, and you don't really gain any real friends per se. But yeah, so early in life, I like I said, I dove into music and started playing out a lot and this and that. But in the process of doing that, I heard about shamanism, and shamanism really felt like a glove to me, and it felt real good. So I dove into shamanism and learned how to become a shamanic practitioner. I journey and travel and things like that. And then in the process of doing that, I became a Reiki master. And the reason why I became a Reiki master is my mom early in life would have me kiss. If my mom had a headache, she would have me kiss her head or hold her back or hold her arm or something, and the pain would go away. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, okay, I'm her son, so, whatever. So I'll do those things for you. But ironically enough, throughout my early life, I would have people come up to me and ask me to touch them, not in a perverted way or nothing like that. Just touch my arm or my head or my back. It hurts, and it's kind of funny that when you're around, Randall, my pain goes away. I didn't think anything about it. I don't know. I thought these people were weird, but I'm the weird one. But anyway, so I dove into Reiki. I dove into shamanism. And during that process right there, I had run across some books about near-death experiences, and that really resonated to me because, like I said, we didn't talk about me dying early in age. It just they put it on a shelf, and we never talked about it. So I ran across some books and some movies and some stories. So I dove into that, and I became a member of IONS, which is International Association for Near-Death Studies, and met some really cool, incredible people. And in the process of doing that, a gentleman named Dr. Bruce Grayson reached out to me and asked if I would be willing to participate in a study about children who have had near-death experiences. So in the early 90s, I started participating in that, and I've been doing that ever since, up until just a few years ago. I haven't heard from Dr. Grayson since, but so I've done that, and I met some incredible people in the process of that also. So that really kind of cemented in me what had happened and what's going on and why I am the way that I am. And electronic devices have a tendency to go haywire when I'm around them. The computer likes to go on and off, lights go on and off. So the typical near-death experience person that don't really know what's going on, but now I do, sort of. But that's kind of where I'm at with things. And I'm in the process of trying to open a healing center up here in northern Indiana. I got a bunch of devices that I like to use, hands-on healing, and I use psychic meditation and psychic mediumship and things like that also. But that's kind of where my journey is at the moment, and hopefully we can get this thing up and going here pretty quick. Once you've had that shamanic journey and you've had that experience, your life is completely different. I mean, for me, becoming a shamanic practitioner really concreted, cemented in me who I am and what I am. And it really helps me to be able to control going to the dimensions and helping people, as opposed to just haphazardly doing something. So with intention and purpose, you can, and being a shamanic practitioner, you can create miracles for the person. All you're doing is facilitating the work. We are hollow bones. The energy comes through me to them, and we're basically just holding space. But it takes some very magical things for that space to be facilitated and held in place to be able to create miracles and things like that. When I do work, I depend upon miracles to happen every single time. I do all of it in person, Zoom, over the phone, yeah, whatever. When I do shamanic work, I like to have the person in front of me. It makes it easier to be able to do the work and journey for the person. Because when I do journey work, I like to be able to touch the person's arm. That way we have that connection, and I can travel however we need to. Once I step out, I'm out. I'm out of my body. So I just do that work. But yeah, sometimes it does change as far as I know. I don't do hypnotherapy sessions, but I do shamanic work. Again, I'm a psychic medium because of what have happened to me, you know. But for the most part, yeah, that's kind of what I do. But you know, because we are psychic and we are mediums, doesn't mean that we know everything and we can tune into everything. Because when you get too close to personal situations, you have a tendency not to be able to see it. But that's kind of typical with most of us mediums and psychics, anyways. But yeah, it's not been an easy life. It's been a fun life, and I feel very blessed. I've helped a lot of people. You know, thank God He's given me the ability to be able to help as many people as we have, and I look forward to helping as many more as I possibly can. And I can't wait to get this healing center open so that we can help more and more people. You know, the success of doing shamanic work is through the clients. It's not through me, but it's through the clients. Again, I'm only a hollow bone. So their success is what's important, not mine. So, we've had a lot of good clients come through, and a lot of success stories with that. And I seriously love what I do. I wouldn't want to do anything else, you know. I've had quite a few experiences happen to me that let me know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But one of the big things that I thoroughly enjoy doing, after being blessed with the gifts that I have, is helping people cross over. You know, it's called Psychopomp work, and I learned how to properly do that from being a shamanic practitioner. When there are haunted stories, haunted houses, and places like that going on, they'll usually call me to come over. I don't investigate. I don't do any of that. I help those spirits that are trapped here. I help them cross over. That's called Psychopomp work. And we've done thousands and thousands and thousands of people, help them cross over. You know, any haunted situation, any haunted location, they'll call me and I'll go over and help the spirit cross over. I was pushed down a flight of stairs by a spirit one time. I ended up breaking my iliac spine, my lower back. But for the most part, they know that you're there to help. They're not going to mess with you. And, you know, when you bring their moms or their dads or their brothers and sisters or grandmothers and grandfathers with you to help them cross over, most of the time they'll go. But you'll get some stubborn ones here and there. And there's certain beings within the light that I'll ask to come forth and to help with the healing of this place. And they'll come and help these spirits cross over too. So I'm not doing this by myself. I have help. I have a lot of spiritual help. I was scared quite a few times early on in life because I didn't know what was really going on. Like I said, my folks didn't talk about me dying when I was 6. So I didn't really know what had happened to me until later on when, you know, I discovered the records and went through all of that, and then it all started flashing back to me. But I always had visions and flashbacks of, you know, me standing in front of the well with my hands in it and the spirit beings on both sides of me and all this. You know, at some point I thought it was just a dream, but it was not a dream at all. So again, we didn't talk about it. So a little later on is when all this started making sense to me, and then I started working with it from that point forward. So yeah, it has definitely not been an easy life, but it's been very rewarding, very rewarding. Just remember this, we all will have a life review. And in this life review, you will become everybody you've ever encountered. I mean, everybody you've ever encountered, you will become. You will see the results of what you've said and done to other people. Not only will you see it, but you will feel it, and then how it has affected other people. And in regards to this, how are you going to react to people now? What are you going to do different? You know, what is your story going to be? Are you going to hate yourself, or are you going to love yourself and other people? We will become everybody we've ever encountered in your life review. Absolutely. So open doors instead of closing them.